Today, my guest on Perth Property Hub is the Managing Director from Hub Interiors Australia, Valerie Formby. Valerie will share with us today some of her tips on how you might need to prepare if you're looking to engage a commercial designer to fit out your next office premises or business location. Hi Valerie, thanks for coming on to Perth Property Hub today.
Thanks for having me.
So a couple of questions I know you commonly get asked when people are looking for fitting out a property. So I just wanted to get a bit of an idea from you as what do people need to think about before they brief you for a fit out?
Okay, so there's a few things to bear in mind. One is your space. Two is planning around the legalities of the lease preparation and how long that's going to take. Understanding a budget and a realistic time frame, because if you don't have a realistic time frame, it tends to move out in terms of people want to get in 8 weeks, but it takes 12, for example. So that it needs to be coordinated when leaving the one space and moving into the other.
Okay, that makes sense. When you're talking about budget, what would be an approximate per square metre price for the fit out?
So again, there's different tiers. If you just want basic fit out in terms of functionality, carpets, desks, that sort of thing, you're looking at around 400 to 600 a square metre. Mm-hmm. If you're looking at mid-spec, so you're wanting a little bit more of a design element, higher finishes or higher quality finishes, it's around 800. And then top end is anything over $1,000 to $1,200 a square metre.
Okay, yeah. Great. So the other thing that I think is really interesting is you see a lot of agencies advertising that there are incentives. So what does that mean and what do the landlords pay versus what the tenant pays for with their fit out?
So that's an interesting one. It's kind of split up into two. Landlord works or base build works is getting the space to a blank shell so that when the tenant moves in, then they can put up their partitions and their flooring and do the design and the layout that works for their business. Mm-hmm. Now, landlord works generally is making sure that the flooring's all sorted and that the ceilings are done. So when the previous tenant moves out, having everything back to a shell mm-hmm. and the walls, and then the tenant would then therefore be responsible for putting in offices, glazing, desks, kitchens, that sort of thing. But in the Perth market now, at the moment, you can either get a rent-free period or you can get a rent reduction. But a lot of companies are actually using that reduction or that abatement to go towards their fit out. So the landlord will do the base build works mm-hmm. and then they'll give you X amount of funds to go towards your new fit out, and anything above that budget, then the tenant will pay for that.
Okay, that's great. Well, I think that information is really valuable to people who would be tuning into that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Thank you so much for coming along.
Not a problem. Thank you so much for having me.